Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology, and we're doing our Astro questions. This is our one question. What I'm trying to do is do a reading each week, or one of these videos each week that addresses a question that I've been asked by one of my clients or the people who very beautifully leave comments on my videos. So thank you for the question, Truth Seeker, about what is a lone moon, and we're going to look at that now. And if you have a question for the future, any of you viewers, and you'd like an answer, leave a message or email me if you prefer, and you can do that through my website www.guidingstar.astrology.com. Send me a message through the contact form there if you'd rather not leave a message here, and I will attempt to answer as many questions as I can. So this one, what is a lonely moon? Great question. I love this question. It's fantastic because there's a lot of people who have a lonely moon, and you may never have even heard of this term before. So let's start by explaining what it actually is. Well, here is the chart for the week that I'm doing this this video, and this is the chart. We're going to actually have a full moon in the sign of Libra earlier on in this week, but here is the moon sitting out here on its own. Okay, all the planets, they're all doing a song and dance all here. These are the nodes, we're not counting them, they don't come into it, but all the planets are all spread out all over the chart. But here is the moon over here by itself in the sign of Libra. Now a lonely moon is just like this. So anyone born around the time of the full moon that's occurring this week, they're going to actually have a lonely moon in their chart. I've got the moon at similar degrees in Libra, and it's a lonely moon. So that's why I love this topic, because I know I've seen this play out in my life, and I know the truth of this. But here is the moon, and as you can see, there are no planets in this case with the moon in the same sign, the sign of Libra, and there are no planets in Scorpio, the sign after the moon, and there are also no planets in the sign of Virgo, which is the sign before. Now, if you were like me, I'm sort of giving away my secrets about my chart here, but my chart looks a little like this. Oopsies, and I'll take this. In Libra, I have the moon, and it's bang on to the degree conjunct with Uranus. This I'm going to pretend is Pluto. Pluto is also there because I'm a Pluto in Libra generation person. Okay, so that's my moon position. I'm not going to tell you which house it is in. Keep watching. One day I might let that cut out of the bag. But anyone who knows what my rising sign is will know what house this is also, by the way. But in this case, the moon is with another planet. It's with Uranus. And it's also with Pluto in the same sign, but I still have a lonely moon. So having planets in the same sign as your moon does not take away the lonely title. So you can see here the sign, and I use whole sign astrology where each sign is actually a house. This is the house or the sign after my moon, and this is the house or the sign before it. No planets. That's what makes it a lonely moon. You could have a stellium of all the 10 planets there. It would be miraculous, but you could, and still have no planets in the sign after or the sign before, and it would be considered to be a lonely moon. So that's what a lonely moon is. You can have planets here with it, but it'll be lonely if there's no planets before or after. Okay, what does it mean when we've got this in the chart? You're probably all going and checking your charts now. Is my moon got any planets in the signs before or the sign after? But this is actually one of the indicators, and I stress the term one of the indicators. You need more than just one, but it's an indicator for emotional imbalance and an indication for depression and anxiety. Now, I don't have depression or anxiety, touch wood. I've had low times in life, but fortunately they've been, they've been times of grief when you need to process that grief and not jump on antidepressants and so forth. But we all have these low times, but depression, clinical depression, is a very different thing. But this, having a lonely moon, is a significator for that. You need other things as well. If you've just got a lonely moon and none of the other significators, then you're fine. You're not going to get depression, because you need more than one significator. But it is one of the ones that we would look for to indicate depression or anxiety, or emotional imbalance. The moon is our emotions. It rules our emotions. And the reason is that because astrologically there is nothing to buffer the energy of the moon. There's nothing sort of in the next room or the room after that's sort of helping balance this moon's energy out. It's alone, even if it's got other planets in the same sign as it. So there's nothing to buffer the emotions, astrologically speaking. So it's a bit like a naked nerve. I'm going to take these planets away to sort of help illustrate the point a little bit more clearly. There it is on its own. There's nothing to buffer the emotional nature of the person. So it's like this naked nerve. It means that people with a lonely moon can be very emotionally sensitized and a bit turned on and tuned in, which essentially means you will tune into the feelings of other people very easily. You'll be very sensitive to the energies of other people. For example, in my life, if I'm doing a reading for someone, I can pick up on the fact that they're in a really low place. And, you know, if you sit in their chart for too long, you get like exhausted, you know, it's wearing, because you're so emotionally sensitized and turned on and intuitive to where people are at. So it can be, it can be a difficult placement to have, but there are benefits, and I'm saving those for last, so stick with me. It can take longer in life to find emotional stability when you've got this moon here, simply because it's a bit more of a roller coaster, and the ability to balance and harmonize your emotions can take a little longer to achieve. It's a skill that we develop as we go through life. I mean, you look at a child, it's given a lollipop and then mum takes the lollipop away. Well, my God, it's emotional hell for the child, and we all know about it. They don't keep their emotions secret. But as we get older, you know, we're 12 or 13, mum gives you a lollipop, mum takes a lollipop away. It's like, mum, come on. We've learned to balance our emotions so much better and negotiate through lost lollipops and things like that. But it can take longer in life for these people to develop an emotional equilibrium and harmony in their lives. They can also feel a little bit more isolated from others or disconnected from others as well, simply because the moon has this feeling of loneliness, like nobody understands me, nobody gets me, I'm a little bit left of center here, and I don't sort of quite fit at the same emotional, I'm not in the same emotional state as other people, I feel different. Let me tell you, when you've got Uranus there as well, it's like exacerbated that energy. So you feel like you're just a round peg and is trying to get in a square hole. You feel like you're on a different wavelength to other people at an emotional level. You know, people talk about their emotions and what they're feeling, and you're like, I would never have felt that in that situation. Or, you know, you feel like you're different somehow. It can take longer, like I said, to find emotional balance in a certain circumstance, or to calm down. You know, what for others, they might, you know, you might be in a volatile situation. I was down the street the other day in a very volatile situation at a post office with one of the staff workers really losing her shit with a very rude customer, and it really, I felt it rile me up as well, and I was quite upset and angry at the rude customer, along with this woman, and it took me like a good couple of hours to settle down and calm down again. And I had just been an observer. I hadn't actually been in the circumstance. I wasn't the one with the abusive customer abusing me. So it can take a while to sort of settle down, and especially, I'll just point out, if you've got it in Libra, that's you know, you hate injustice, you want balance, you want harmony. So you watch something on the news and it's all about injustice and blah blah blah, and you know, you could be not settled down till the next morning and tossing and turning all night about some injustice that has really riled you up at an emotional level. For everyone with a lonely moon, they might feel this way, because whatever triggers them, whatever gets their emotions twirling, it's going to take a lot longer for them to reach a state of again. So keep in mind, if you've got a lonely moon, it's really, really important and really healthy to take time out to calm your environment and yourself. So go for walks, or take a soak in the bath, or read a good book that takes you into another space. Do whatever kind of therapeutic practices you need to balance that moon and to help you find a space of calm. Having good strategies up your sleeve for the times when you feel really riled up and twisted up with emotions. If you've got strategies up your sleeve, you're going to do so much better than spinning in those emotions at times when a person with a lonely moon gets triggered. But now here comes the good stuff. This is a highly spiritual indicator. This is an indicator that says you're on a spiritual mission, this incarnation. You have a huge spiritual purpose in this life. If you've got a lonely moon, that you're going to spend a lot more time going within and exploring the deep emotional depths of your soul as a means of catharsis, as a means of getting out of karma even. It can be hugely therapeutic, and it's very, like I said, a very spiritual placement to have. It indicates that you are embarking on a lifetime of, if you've got this placement, a big spiritual growth and looking, like I said, for answers within yourself. So it's an indicator that you will take leaps and bounds in this incarnation throughout the course of your life on a spiritual level. When you've got a lonely moon, where you start emotionally in life, perhaps from past life karma or what you've experienced in early this life, the emotional beginning that you start with is not going to be the place where you finish. You're going to evolve a great deal and become much more in tune spiritually throughout this incarnation. It's a very powerful placement for spiritual advancement. Now, the house placement can further define the impact as well, and where you might experience this spiritual advancement. I'm not going to go through all the signs. I might do that another day if anyone's interested in how a lonely moon affects each house placement. For example, if you had the lonely moon in the seventh house, the house of relationships, well, that's the area of life that's going to spiritualize you, that's going to help you on this, through this spiritual journey. And it might come through having really difficult relational experiences that makes you a more spiritually defined person, that evolves you to a new spiritual level. So that would be like this, Libra, 7th house, and in this case with this chart, that's where you would be getting your spiritual up leveling from relationships with business partners, with marriage partners. If you had it in, let's say, the 10th house, then you would be feeling this spiritualization would come from your worldly dreams and aspirations for social status, or your relationship with bosses or authority figures. They would be the ones to cause circumstances in your life that help you up level spiritually and grow and evolve at a spiritual level. So that is how the lonely moon works. Look at where, if you've got the lonely moon, look at where it falls in your chart in whole sign astrology. What house is it in? That's the area of life that's going to be affected by this lonely moon. And when I say affected, that's the area of life that's going to help you to up level to a whole new spiritual paradigm. Maybe I should tell you where mine falls. For curiosity, it's in the 8th house. I have Pisces rising. So my moon is in the 8th house. The 8th house is connected to astrology. Astrology has been the leverage that has enabled me to spiritually grow and evolve through this lifetime. It's more than anything else. It has taken me on a whole new spiritual up-leveling journey and journey into more wisdom because of astrology. So wherever your lonely moon falls, whatever house placement that is the mechanism for spiritual growth with a lonely moon. So I hope that helps you understand a lonely moon better. If you've got any more questions, and I hope you do, please leave them for me, because I love to answer your questions. It gives me more knowledge and wisdom, as well as I do some research and explore what things mean. So ask away.